News Weather Forecast Bulletin, United States, Canada, Pacific and Atlantic Overview, September. Good day to all our viewers. You are watching the News Weather Forecast, where we bring you the most accurate, in-depth, and comprehensive analysis of the meteorological phenomena unfolding right now. Today, we have a series of critical updates from Hurricane Kiko in the Pacific, the tropical wave Invest 91L in the Atlantic that could become Gabrielle, the next major storm of the season, to severe thunderstorms and a cold air mass in the United States, along with record-breaking weather across Canada. This is a dense, complex climate picture full of factors that demand our attention. Cyclone Hurricane Kiko, moving toward Hawaii but weakening. Let's begin with Hurricane Kiko in the Pacific. Over the past few days, this system has been closely monitored by major forecasting centers, particularly as it has shown a tendency to move closer to Hawaii, an archipelago often at risk from oceanic storms. According to the latest data, Kiko is gradually shifting northward into cooler waters while also encountering an upper-level low that is producing wind shear. Wind shear is a critical factor that can disrupt a hurricane's convective structure, preventing thunderstorm towers from organizing evenly, which in turn weakens the storm. Combined with the cooler waters, an inefficient energy source for tropical cyclones, Kiko is now on a path of significant weakening. Forecast models indicate that within the next 3 to 5 days, Kiko is unlikely to maintain hurricane strength. The most likely scenario is that the system will dissipate before directly affecting Hawaii. For residents there, this means that instead of a major hurricane threat, the main concern will be localized heavy rainfall that could trigger flooding in low-lying areas. This also reminds us that not every hurricane sustains its strength all the way to landfall. Environmental factors such as sea surface temperatures and upper-level winds can completely change the outcome within days, even hours. This is precisely why experts constantly urge communities to stay updated, because hurricane forecasting is a complex field, dependent on countless atmospheric variables. Wave the Atlantic heats up, Invest 91L and the threat of Gabrielle. Moving on to the Atlantic, where a new tropical wave has emerged as the global focal point. This system is currently designated Invest 91L, traveling westward at about 10 miles per hour with sustained winds near 22 miles per hour. Invest 91L is moving through the central Atlantic waters. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has assessed a high likelihood of it developing into a tropical depression by this weekend, and potentially becoming Hurricane Gabrielle within 6 to 10 days. What has heightened concern among specialists is the shift in track projections. While early model runs suggested a more northward curve, the latest forecasts show a drift southward and westward, raising the risk of direct impacts on the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Haiti, and Dominica. Adding to the risk, the Western Atlantic currently holds an exceptionally high oceanic heat content, essentially a fuel tank for rapid hurricane intensification. Should the system pass the Antilles without major disruption, it could strengthen rapidly into a major hurricane, Category 3 or higher. History has shown many cases where weak systems exploded into monsters within just a few days under the right conditions. Another crucial factor is the Bermuda-Azores High. If this ridge remains strong and extends westward, it could steer Gabrielle further toward the U.S. mainland, threatening the Bahamas, Florida, or even the entire East Coast. Conversely, if a mid-latitude trough arrives in time, the storm could recurve northward into the open Atlantic, greatly reducing risk. At this stage, both scenarios remain possible, underscoring why meteorologists stress the importance of closely following every new advisory. Tornado United States, thunderstorms, damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. While coastal residents watch Gabrielle, the U.S. mainland is already facing a series of severe weather events. In recent days, the Midwest has been struck by giant hailstones up to 3 inches in diameter, large enough to shatter car windshields and puncture roofs. At the same time, wind gusts have reached 75 miles per hour, equivalent to Category 1 hurricane force, toppling trees and cutting power across wide areas. Short-term forecast. Friday, Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia will face severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, and possible tornado spin-ups. Saturday, the storm system expands, covering Kentucky, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and New York. Residents in major cities such as Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Washington, D.C. should be on high alert. This is one of the largest thunderstorm outbreaks since the start of fall. A stark reminder of America's climatic volatility, where communities can face hurricanes at sea and tornadoes on land within days of each other. Maple Leaf Canada, early autumn and extreme weather records. It's not just the U.S. Canada is also experiencing significant atmospheric shifts. In Ontario and Quebec, Toronto was drenched this morning with heavy rain, reducing visibility and disrupting traffic. The rain is tracking eastward through Kingston, Ottawa, and into Montreal by evening. Along the Ontario-Quebec border, strong thunderstorms are likely. Northern Ontario continues with chilly rains from a Saskatchewan low. Forecasts for Friday show widespread winds of 50 to 60 km per hour, with gusts up to 70 to 90 km per hour along Lake Huron's shoreline. Toronto will only reach 19 degrees Celsius, a clear sign of autumn's early arrival, while Montreal holds at 28 degrees Celsius before storms move in later in the day. In eastern Canada, skies cleared after morning fog today. Tomorrow, Halifax may see light showers, while Fredericton stays mostly dry. The weekend will bring a dry, warm Saturday, followed by increased cloud cover and rain chances Sunday. In British Columbia, a historic heat record was just set, 40.8 degrees Celsius, the highest September temperature ever recorded in Canada. This figure has alarmed experts, as September is normally much cooler. Alongside the heat, wildfire smoke has deteriorated air quality in Squamish, Metro Vancouver, and Calgary to hazardous levels. Many residents are limiting outdoor activity, wearing masks, or temporarily relocating. Fortunately, the heatwave has peaked and is expected to ease in the coming days. Across the prairies, conditions are entirely different. Calgary reached only 16 degrees Celsius, Saskatoon 14 degrees Celsius, and Winnipeg 9 degrees Celsius. Strong winds of 80 to 90 km per hour across Saskatchewan caused scattered damage, while Manitoba also faced gusty conditions as cold northern air pushed southward. In northern Canada, contrasts remain sharp. Yukon is unusually warm with 25 to 26 degrees Celsius in Dawson and Whitehorse, while Nunavut is much colder, highlighting the atmospheric divide across the country. Globe overall atmospheric outlook. Looking at the big picture, experts agree that the current atmospheric setup will remain favorable for tropical storm and hurricane development at least through mid-September, likely extending into October. This means the Atlantic, Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and the Bahamas will stay hot zones for several more weeks. Additionally, the possibility of new systems forming along stalled frontal boundaries, especially in the Gulf of Mexico, cannot be ruled out. This suggests that the 2025 hurricane season may end up longer and more complex than average. Latin Cross closing message. In this turbulent weather landscape, the key is not panic, but preparedness. Stay tuned to official forecasts and have response plans ready if needed. For Caribbean, Florida, or Bahamian residents, each advisory on Invest 91L could be decisive. For Canadians, the smoke and unusual September heat are reminders that climate change is undeniable reality. And for communities in the central and eastern United States, severe storms and tornadoes remain an immediate hazard. As the anchor closes, in every challenge, what matters most is preparation and faith. Trust in science, trust in community solidarity, and for many, faith in God will be the anchor that carries us through. Thank you for watching today's news weather forecast bulletin. Don't forget to subscribe and follow for the latest updates. Wishing you peace and safety in the days ahead.